Hello everyone, how are you today? Today we're gonna keep on working on this building that we've been doing for maybe the last 7 streams. It's part of a bigger project. You can see all about this in my previous streams. I'm gonna be sharing all of this in the end on my Patreon for free. You can head on there. There are already free assets. There is a moped and some other stuff like this that are really cool. Plus there is a paid membership just for the support, and it will be just appreciated. Later on, there are gonna be specific content for the Patreons, for the paid patrons, of course. Anyways, with that said, quickly and shortly, today what I wanna do, like I don't have a specific plan. I know I have a lot to do, so we still have like this mechanic shop's garage shop to finalize in the interior of it. We still have to add all of these vegetables and fruits and snacks and like the groceries inside this grocery shop, plus the refrigerators, the shelving, and so on. Inside of here, maybe we need to add some doors for this room. It's like a technical room inside. So if I hide the road, if you look like this, so if you go from, this is the main entrance of the building, you go up the stairs. There's a room here that can be an electrical room that we don't really care about. So this is for the interior stuff. And maybe like on the balcony in here, we need to add something like some planters and stuff like this. Plus, off stream, I merged all of this and I sculpted it because it was looking too clean in my previous streams. And plus, I might want to rotate these poles a bit, like left and right, just to give it a bit more like wear and tear. Plus, we might need to do some a better detail for how they intersect with the ground, because also this is too clean. But that's not a big deal. We can ignore it. That's fine. What I'm trying to do right now is finalize everything external so I can prepare a package for my Patreons, like the AC compressors, which are hidden right now. The AC compressors are done. Of course, they're not the most detailed thing. They can just you can add to it if you want. Well, as these wheels are done, these displays are done, and I want to finalize the water tank. I want to finalize this satellite and distribute more of it. I want to add maybe a light pole here and add some wiring from it. Also, we need to add some wiring from here down to the houses. So the things that I want to focus on right now are related to the exterior of the building. I think I'm gonna start with this one because I'm not sure if I did this on stream or off stream, but it's gonna add more to the character of this old building to have this antenna ready. So I have some reference images, of course, as usual, pulled on the side. Let me see where it is. So for this one, I was looking at this picture. Let me keep my OBS running on the other screen to make sure that everything's fine. So it was technically this picture. It's not that complicated. I don't want to overcomplicate it. So you have this small, I don't know what it is. Honestly, I don't know what all of these are. I know a little bit information that they can be fixated differently, like positioned differently. They can have different poles, they can have different sizes, they can have different orientations. And we're gonna use all of this for our project. And the most interesting part that all of them have like a zillion wires coming out of them, which add a lot of character. I don't know, like I think every wire is for one TV. And then for one DVR or something. So they end up causing a lot of wiring, which is bad in real life, but is nice for our creative purposes. So let's put this here. I have other, like a few other ones also pulled on the side. They look the same. It's just to have like different point of views or different shapes for how this thing can look. I have also another one from the back, which is interesting. Let me show you. So how it is fixated from the back. I'm not gonna go into this much detail. I like this one actually. It shows a lot what's going on. That could be very interesting. That's actually a very interesting image. And then we can build from there. Okay, so let's start with this. You know what? Instead of me just looking at these images. Let me try to bring them into Blender. So I'm gonna snapshot it because it's not a JPEG format. Let me save it. Save on my desktop, and then we can. And instead of working on this file, which is a bit laggy, let's have another Blender file open here. We can paste the object. It's pasted in here. I press the period button to zoom in. We can do flat with wireframes just to see what's happening. Then we can open another window, go to image editor, open an image. On my desktop, it is this one. And maybe, wait, we need to add another window. Let's save this image. It's also a WebP image, so I need to print screen it and save. Where is the save for this one? Also on my desktop. Go back here, open image, open, and this. So we have two reference images from the back and from the front. And this is all we need actually. So we already have this. It's just a circle squeezed, scaled and rotated. It still has the scale actually, so you can see it's just a sphere, just a scaled a bit more on the Y, have a bit less depth. Also rotated a bit upwards, and I like to keep the rotation. I don't like to apply the rotation because I can always come back to the 90 degrees rotation. That's much easier to work with. And I think for this one right now, I'm gonna keep it at 90 degrees. I'm gonna apply the scale because it's easier to work with. Let's pick all the angles here, Control E. I've seen someone doing something called edge offset. Let's see, if press F3 and we call frame offset. What's... Nothing's happening. Loop tool, F3. I'm not sure if it was an add-on. I seen it like in a quick short. It was called something offset. And I'm pretty sure it was... Okay, we can do it inwards, that's fine. That wasn't it, but that's fine. So what we can do is we can keep it here, and then we can G F3 edge offset slide. Let's keep it here, and then no, we can't keep it here. No. Okay, forget. Just pick all the edges and extrude. Right click, Alt S to scale, to shrink and flatten technically, which is technically scaling along the normals. Let me pick this back. Let me double G, slide it inwards. Pick this, extrude on the Y, backwards. I'm just trying to recreate the slip here. And then if we add a Control 1 subdivision surface twice, let's push this backward a little bit more. And I think what we can do is we can pick this edge and right click and crease it, mark as crease. Let me see, right click, mark as sharp or something, mark as sharp, yeah. And it should be somewhere. Is it just like this? So now if I it's about the crease. Okay. Then we can keep my OBS running here. Then we can add a solidify modifier. And let's keep it as 2. The solidify modifier. Let me see if I should go inwards or outwards. Something like this is more than enough. Maybe we should hide this and this, go to sculpt mode, or instead of sculpt mode, let's go to edit mode, pick these faces here, turn on proportional editing, G, reduce with the mouse wheel on the Y. Let's see it from a different perspective. G, Y, increase it a bit. Let's. Yep, that's better. Okay, I was trying to save, but it's a different file. So this is one. Then you have, if you can see, this is going here to the back, attached to this kind of arrangement in here. And in the front, it's not as sharp. It's actually going like this. And then it has like this pole stops in here, and then you have something else in here that's holding this thing, this like sensor or something. So what is this made of? It's a, we hide the solidify. It's just an edge, or maybe more than an edge, just a plane. So what we should do is, first, let's delete this face. Delete these faces. And then let's grab all of it, object mode. Let's bring it back a little bit more. Then we can take this edge in here, extrude it till here, something like this. Now we can do this setup, which is basically this is basically the thing, the important thing. It's something that looks like this and also has like some sort of it is like this shape, and then it's bent like this, which, and then if you do it one side, you can just mirror it from all the different sides. So let's think about that a little bit. I can do it as a curve, and I can draw these and then I can transform it, or I can do it directly as a plane, which I think I'm gonna do because it has a bit more bending, so we can preserve the topology easier. Object mode, Shift A, mesh plane. It should be somewhere here in the center. I'm not gonna worry much about the scale right now. I'm just gonna draw the shape. So consider this as only one quarter of it. It's like this. So this is where we are right now. Okay. So let's put this here. Let's make it bigger, just so we can see it. All right. Object mode, Control R. Object mode. Okay. Tab, Control R. I'm pressing Shift R. So just one goes like this, and one in here that goes like this. We don't need this face. It goes on the Y. Nope. Down on the Y a little bit. And then all you have to do is just take this edge, extrude it on the Z. And now if we pick this, Shift S, cursor to selected, and then right click, set origin to 3D cursor, as we have done like a million times. Then we can mirror. We can mirror on both the X and the Y. Then let's rotate by 90 degrees and scale by a lot. bring it up somewhere here. And instead of doing it by eyeballing it, what we can do is Shift S cursor to selected, then we can do Shift S selected to cursor, selection to cursor. Now it is in the center of it. Then we can do just G, Y. It is still too big. We can scale it down even more. Okay. Now there's a trick. We can add a lattice, parent it to the lattice, and then attach it to it, and then shrink wrap the lattice to the shape of the satellite. I'm not gonna do it because it's not that. It's really not that critical. So instead, we can just G on the Y, and the same thing. Move this on the Y, just push it to the Y axis. We can make this a bit smaller on the X. Of course, we can add a solidify just to make everything thicker. And the solidify is not working properly because we need to Control A and apply the scale. Now you have the proper solidification. Remember, like, to always apply scale. So if this is not 1, then everything in here is gonna be multiplied by whatever in here, and it's gonna look super weird. Then we need to even the thicknesses. I need also to silence my WhatsApp. Mute. Okay. Then I think we need to take this and push it more on the X like this. Because if you look here, it feels like it's a bit clamped inwards. We can also add some like an edge in here and then like try to curve it a bit, because what seems to be going inside of this is like some sort of a cylindrical shape. Like you have this, and then you have something clamping over it that's attached to it. So you have a tube with the detail on top of it, then it is attached to this clamp in here. We can add what I like to call the illusion of details here, and we can do this easily. If we add 2 edges in here, we can scale them on the Z, on the Y, on the X, scale on the X. Hey, on the Z. Alright. Scale them on the Z axis. Alright, if we pick these 2 edges in here. Oh, we don't have edges. Sorry, that's my fault. We can pick the vertices here, then Ctrl Shift B. We can just chamfer these guys. Then what we can do is that I think the thickness is too much. Let's make it less. Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure like Solidify does not like this detail. Like it's something weird, but that's bending that's happening in real life, so it's fine. Then we can apply the Solidify, but we can keep the mirrors. Then we can pick these faces. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. I think we need to add an edge in here first. Then we can pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extrude it like this, and then scaling it won't do the job properly. If we press the period, we can say scale from the medium point, individual origins, maybe individual origin. Scale on the X. No. What we can do is we can bring the 3D cursor here, then we can pick up these faces period from the 3D cursor, scale on the X from the 3D cursor like this, and then scale on the Z like this. Yep. Then let me hide the mirror and delete those faces. Whatever is being shared by the mirror modifier. Delete all of these faces. So this is what we have now. It just look like we have something, you know, it doesn't have to be very complicated. We can pull these back up and maybe this a bit back up. All right, that's fine. Then what we can do is we can grab this edge, pull it down, bevel it. Perfect. Maybe pull it up a bit, it's looking too sharp. I think if we add a... Okay, let me save this, let me call it satellite something. Okay, let's try to do a boolean. So let's add a let's select this face, shift S, cursor to selected. Let's add a, you know what, instead let's take this face, shift D, right click, P, selection. We can take the mirror, let's keep the mirror here. I meant for this. So we don't need the mirror on this shape. Or maybe we do, but we don't need it on the Y. Yes, yeah. We can have it only on the X. So that's a separate object right now. Let's do something like this. Bring it here. Set origin to geometry. And let's, by the median point, all right, scale it up. Remove the mirror for now because it's working. Yeah, I think we don't need the mirror. If we apply the boolean before the mirror, I think we're gonna be fine. That's gonna look a bit weird. Like this is gonna be like this and like this instead of two parallel lines, but that's fine. The second thing I want to do is to subdivide this. So tab A, right click, subdivide. Let's subdivide it a couple of times. Before subdividing it, let's make sure we apply the scale. Tab A, right click, subdivide it a couple of times, not much. Then we can add a shrink wrap to it so it conforms to the surface because we have like a band. And then we can apply this. Then we can add a solidify to this. Do it something like this. I think if we offset it to the inside, there you go. That's technically your Boolean object. Then let's save, add a Boolean on top of the mirror. And is it intersect? Is this difference? Yeah, that's it. It's bad because this is bad technically, so let me see how to clean up this shit. So let's hide the solidify a bit. Let's see what we're dealing with in here. So instead of solidify, let's first go to sculpt mode, shift, smooth this a bit, Then let's select everything and let's extrude instead of solidify. Then let's Q link flat faces. I think I need to increase this a bit. Yeah. So it's basically, this is a shortcut on my quick favorites. It's somewhere here in the select. You can select by flat faces, select link by flat faces. All right, so GX. Yeah, that's much better. And I think we can scale it a bit like this. We can apply the boolean and delete this object. Then we can clean up a little bit, not much, just a little bit, because it might create some artifacts in the rendering. The first and most important thing is to match the corners with something. And I don't think we need these edges. Control X. We won't need these edges, of course. This can be Control X. Then this, we can link it here. And this, we can link it here. Let's see if we would need these or without it. We're gonna get smoother. Yeah, without it. Without this and without this. So basically what I did originally is I overdid it. So yeah, this is it. That's fine. Now, this should go somewhere inside of it. Now that's okay, so this is not actually centered. So if you take this as the center, this is actually on the lower part of it. And what we can do is we can first, let me see. All right, we can have this point here, Shift S, cursor to selected, then I can do set origin, but that's gonna affect the mirror. Let's apply the mirror first, then we're gonna set origin to 3D cursor. Then what we're gonna do is bring back the cursor here, Shift S, sometimes it's not working, I don't know why. Then we're gonna say Shift S, selection to cursor. So this is this. Then we can rotate it a bit and move it inwards. This. So that's this detail here. Should we add bolts? I don't know. Let's first add some cavities, some shadows, just so we can see the shapes a bit more. Let's auto smooth this. And you know what? I'm gonna add this small detail in here. Not sure if you can see it. I'm gonna add this small detail in here. So what we should do is we're gonna select this and then Control press to select the faces, then Control numpad plus, and just we're gonna extrude a bit out. Then we're gonna pick these edges, right click, mark as sharp, and then increase the crease. I'm not sure why we have two of them. Let me see if we change the to matcap. It could be the cavity that's creating this illusion. It is. But it's looking fine. Maybe it's a solidify, I'm not sure. I think it's a solidify. Yeah, it's the solidify. All right, it is the solidify. I think it's intersecting itself, which is ruining things. So let's try to fix this somehow. Let's solidify outwards. Yeah, that's better. But this means now that we have changed our thickness. So we should move this here. We can move this a bit downwards like this, and now we can Alt Z to go to wireframe, and this is somewhere in here attached to something, right? Right. Let's hide the floors, the axes, and the grids. So this is the first thing. Now, let's shade auto smooth this. Let's go to the object data somewhere in here. Normals. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. And let's go to matte caps. Let's change the cap so we can see it a bit differently. It's looking good. What's next? We need to just make sure that this is done properly. Let's Alt Z everything in here. Let's take all of this. Did we apply everything? Yes, we did. And let's push it. You know what? Let me see if I can clamp. No, I cannot clamp it. But maybe let's keep it just on the Y straight. Sorry. Yeah, on the Z, that's why we keep the orientation, because you can still get to it. So yeah, this is much bigger like this, because it needs to hold this thing and it needs to hold this this thing. So that's cool. Now, so this depends on the type of fixation. It can be adjustable, it can be something bent. Let me check some other reference images just to be sure. There is this one. Okay. So what you see in here is that they usually screw some more things on it to add more fixation points, I think. Let's go back. There's a million details to these things. Yeah, this one. This one is completely different. Alright, so there are different ways to do this. For the time being, let's just object mode. Let's create a you know what? Let's go here, Shift S, curve selected. And let's bring back this one. Let's bring back, let's keep it here. Let's keep it rotating from here. It's better. And let's create Shift A. Let's create a curve, a Bezier curve. And I think we can delete, if you go to edit mode, we can delete all the vertices. Then we can pick this curve pen and just click and drag to create a new curve like this. Go to geometry and then the bevel, just add some thickness to it, much bigger, something like this. And now just click and drag, that's it. Can we do it automatic? V automatic. Yeah, that's better. So automatic, it self-calculates if you want the curve to make it as smooth as possible, instead of us trying to figure out all of these things. But whenever you change it, I think it turns into free, if I'm not mistaken. So whenever you change it, because this is automatic does it by itself. And it's not as curved as it looks in here, so let's do vector in here. Let's do vector for this one, and let's do vector for this one. Let's keep it straight. Let's keep it aligned here, and let's keep it automatic here. This one should be vector. And this should rotate from this point. So let's fill the gaps, Shift S, cursor to selected, right click, set origin to 3D cursor, and now if you want to position it, you just position it according to this. Even though it's looking weird right now. Wait a second. I think we need to scale on the X 0. I'm not sure. No, it's fine. Why did we go back? So again, right click, origin to 3D cursor. So we have this and that all done. There is a small detail that we need to add in here. So let's do this. First, let's make sure that this has a bit more space in here. We need to scale on the X probably. Let's scale on the X again. All right, now let's duplicate this. I think we can delete these vertices. We end up only with this guy. We just increase the bevel here. And I think we can just subdivide and delete this vertex as well. We should remove the filling the gaps. We can pull this upwards like this. This downwards. Let me see. We should add a bit more resolution. Where should we add resolution in here? Okay, let's save this. Let's convert it to a mesh. Then let's add an edge in here in the middle. Delete these two faces. Take these edges. Shift select this and this. Extrude this outwards like this. Something like this. Yep. And then let's set auto smooth. Yeah, this is looking good. Let's solidify. Let's even the thicknesses. 0.003. Like this is perfect. Let me move the cursor a bit away. This is looking fine. Should we add some clamps in here? I think we should. Now the topology here is dead. Let's just attach this to this and this. It's not gonna change much. Anyway, it's fine, like they have this kind of bending. That's not the end of the world. I'm just considering adding some more details here. I know it's not gonna show much, so what I'm trying to say is scale this, go to tab. So we have 3 of them. 1, 2, 3, yep. We pick this face, we shift as cursor selected. I'm not sure, maybe I'm pressing shift A by mistake. That's on me. So shift A, let's add a sphere. It's easier to work with. And let's do the radius, maybe 0.01. The segments maybe like 6. The rings maybe like 6. And we can scale it on the X by something like this. And just move it on the X a bit outwards. Shade auto smooth. Let's bevel this edge. So the thing is with spheres is that we end up with this point, which isn't very practical. So let's delete this. Let's delete it. So instead we need to create a cube. The same thing, we need to scale by 0.003, something like this. Probably bigger, 0.01. A Sparky? No. Subdivide. Alt S Sparky. Sparky? Sparky? Yeah. She's fighting the neighbors. Alright, now we can scale on the X like we did before. We can move on the X to the outside like we did before. Sparky. Can delete these faces. We can control. Okay. Sparky. Just fix the offset a bit. Let me see if we can match something. So I'm just trying to match the topology of the, yeah, that's better. Just trying to match the, hey man, how are you? And then we can just decimate and subdivide by something. Nope. Collapse. Nope. Planar. That's a lot of unsubdivisions. Nope. Let's try again the unsubdivide. Yeah. We have these all over the place here. Although I prefer online streaming right now. over this. You know what? Let's try to clean it up by ourselves. So I added too much details in here. I need to clean it up. It's not gonna show. So this and this, Control X. Let's think about it a bit more. Think this and this, Control X. G on the X here. So now Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift D, right click, Shift S, selection to cursor, then again cursor to selected, Shift D, right click, Shift S, selection to cursor. We now have these 3 points, we can join them. Then we can Shift S, cursor to selected, set the origin to 3D cursor, then we can just mirror like this and just collapse. That's it. Now we need to finalize this part without really adding too much details. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to create like this plastic piece that has this, they call it dissect in here, I don't know what it's called. Actually, I wasn't trying to be, I wasn't trying to make it look as heavy as it came out, but I can understand. So everyone was doing these reposts that where they like, you cannot hurt my feelings, I grew up there, like it's a chain of reposts, you know, it's a trend. And it was maybe 12 a.m. in the morning here, so I didn't really think of it. Then I woke up this morning, I was like, this is too much, I should have selected something a bit less dramatic. So for those who's gonna watch this later, let me show you. So I posted this on my threads yesterday. Let me so you can't hurt my feeling, this is where I grew up. This is Beirut. But if you go, like, people are jokingly like, you can't hurt my feeling, I grew up as the eldest Asian family daughter, whatever. And then this is in New York, this is I worked in finance. Like, it's a chain of things. But I think I posted the least funny one. No one can laugh about this. I should have kept it a bit lighter. You know, when you grow up with these things, like you're used to it. Then you realize like not everyone can laugh about this stuff. It's not funny. Let's be to be honest. But we laugh because we get used to it, I think. Anyways, that's fun. Just adding some more details. Like, all of this comes from this city, actually. So, and the things that we see in here. Let's extrude along the normals. A little bit like this. Then we can Control R at Z, pick all of these faces and Shift D, right click P, separate the selection. Yeah, I should be aware of this stuff next time. Like, man, this is too much. Especially with what's happening right now. Everybody's worried. The news and the elections up there, like in the US, And like this situation is super important for a lot of people. And then the guy who actually lives in there is trying to make a joke about it. G, double G, then so, then Alt. I think we need to scale this a bit, but first we need to scale it from something. So I think we need to add a reference point. So here's what we should do. First, let's apply the scale. Then let's pick the edges. Let's fill the faces. Then let's pick that face. Isolate this. So let's delete these. Decimate them. Let's put an R. Let's shift S, bring the cursor here. Then right click, set the origin to the cursor. So now we can scale from this point, which makes much more sense. Then I think what we should do is delete these faces, and also let's delete those faces. I can mirror that. I think we can fill these, fill that, fill this. Then let's extrude first. Let's extrude this on the Z axis, rotate it, scale on the Z by 0. Then let's pick these and rotate them. Just like this. Delete those faces, and then let's add a mirror modifier like this. Then what we should do is we need to pick these faces and delete them, and we need to add a solidify modifier. Yeah, something like this. Sparky, what's wrong? Alright, scale on the Z by 0 because it's not aligned. Okay, so it's not aligned because we need even thicknesses here on the solidify, and we need to delete those faces as well. What's happening now? So if we hide the solidify, okay, we have these faces that also needs to be deleted. Alright, that's much better. Let's put this upwards a bit. So now what? Now we need to create some sort of a ring. Sparky isn't happy. So let's go. Let's try again. Scale is at 0 because it feels that there is still a small offset. Let's extrude this on the Z axis like this. Let's isolate this view. Add a face and add something in here, add an edge, whatever. Then put that on the X. What should we do? Then maybe put that like this on the Z. Yep. But I think what we need to do first is to fill this, bevel it, move it, snap it. That can be a rap song. Snap. We need to snap on the vertices, so let's snap vertex. Closest, okay. It's not snapping for some reason. You know what? We don't need to snap actually. We can just merge at last. And here what we can do is go un. It's gonna be done like this actually. So we need to push it here. And this can actually be just, it's fine. Add another edge in here. Then merge it at last. Pull this one down. Yep, it's making more sense now. Sometimes you just have to wing it. Most of the time actually. Let's pick all of these faces. Scale on the Y by 0. So we flatten everything in this direction. Then we can inset in here. Take these guys, move them on the X. Make it sure to bisect and merge. And let's pick these and these. Let's delete them. And let's delete these edges. Then let's fill this, and this. Now let's do some cleanups because it's super messy now. I know there's a different way, like you can add a cylinder and like you can do different things, but I'm not really worried about any of these things. It's not gonna show. So the solidify is not happy about this, so forget about the solidify. It looks weird, but you have to remember that in the end, this is it. Like we're not gonna see anything of it. And actually it's gonna be something like this. This is gonna be also rotated, so shouldn't worry much about it. Should shade auto smooth, let me see, should we shade a bit more? Yeah, that's perfect. Let's give this paving or something, I guess. Yeah. Come on, what's happening? So let's give this, let's call it the rubber material. And let's give this satellite white, and let's pick 1, 2, 3. Or I can't hear that music, by the way. I don't have my headphones on. Control L, link materials. So they all now have the same satellite white material. How are you doing today, by the way? Right. And let's convert to mesh so we can apply everything. For now, let's pick these edges, extrude, right click, Alt S, Offset even. Wait. Alt S. But why is this happening? Are these touched? Just let's merge by distance. So everything's fine. Also we can pick the edges. We can grid fill. Something like this. We can pick these faces. We can inset them. So that's a bit cleaner. And then we extrude along normals inwards. Okay. Now we still have to do this piece. And that should be also easier. But first, let me see if I should apply the subdivision or not. No. All right. So instead of joining all of these, because I wanna in the end I wanna rotate it like this. I'm gonna either rotate the whole thing. Nope, we can't. So we can rotate this and then rotate the whole thing. Or I can group stuff. We'll see. Yeah, not group, like parent stuff. Like have some empties and parent them, so we can rotate the empty and everything will rotate with it. Anyways, let's go back here. Let's pick this. What's this? That's the perfect spot to add our Shift S 3D cursor. And let's, you know what? Let's set our origin here as well. Let's remove this point. But now what we can do is we can Shift A, add a cylinder. That cylinder should be something like 0.002. And the depth should be like something like 0.01. Maybe this is too small. 0.05. The depth is a bit bigger, the radius is a bit smaller. Align with the word, rotate on the X by 90 degrees. Then we can push it here, scale it a bit, Ctrl A, apply the scale. Shade auto smooth. Yep, that's it. Tab to insert once, twice. Pick these guys. No, I always struggle with this guy, with these. It should be easier than this. Sometimes they loop, sometimes they don't. I'm not sure why. So instead I'm gonna Ctrl plus, and then I'm gonna deselect this. I'm gonna extrude it inwards. Then I'm gonna pick these edges. I'm gonna bevel them. Then I'm gonna bevel these guys. Like this. And then we're gonna take these, move them on the Y a bit, move this on the Y as well, pick these guys, extrude along the normals, like this. Also, pick these edges, bevel them a bit, everything is smoothed. Now, what we can do is we can extrude this on the Y. Now this thing is too big. Yeah, it's too big. We can scale it by something like this. Then we need to delete this face, delete the face. Okay, I think what we can do is we can pick all of these. Then we need to shift S cursor to selected. Let me turn on the cursor. Let me see what I'm doing, because this is something that I haven't really thought of properly. All right, let's shift A. Let's add a circle, not this circle. Let's add a UV sphere actually. Let's make it, wait, shift A, UV sphere. Let's make the radius bigger. Let's add more segments, especially on the rings. Let's make it like this. You know what? This is not the best approach. Let's delete all of this. Let's Ctrl F, grid fill, change the span, change the offset. Yep, this makes much more sense. Then I'll shift S. It's gonna make it sphere. Okay, so we're gonna pick these, this, and this. We bevel that. It's gonna screw everything. So learning as we go. Ctrl F, grid fill, less spans. Yep, something like this. Now we bevel this. Yep, we're suffering. Let me think about it one last time. Grid fill. Let me change. Okay, so instead of all of this, I'm gonna turn on proportional editing. I'm gonna move this, make it smaller, make it bigger, move it on the Y. And I think we can change this to be sphere. Yeah. Move it on the Y, make it smaller. Yeah, that's it. Yep, that's much better. Now we need to add a cube. It should be something like this. G, Y, tab, scale on the Z. Pick this guy, G on the Y. Then extrude on the Z once, twice. Pick these guys. How can I ring instead of... Alright. Right click, extrude along the normals, inwards. Bevel these edges. Bevel everything, I think. Yeah, let's bevel everything. And we're almost done. Shade auto smooth. Yeah, that's it. Now what we should do, since I'm not gonna mess with this guy, instead I'm gonna join these together. I'm gonna join all of this together. Okay, Ctrl J, they're gonna rotate from this point. But this is too big, right? That's too big. Let's make this smaller. Just this and this. Without proportion editing, of course. Then let's make these also smaller. J, Z, Z, J, Z. I think that's it. Yeah, that's better. So we have this, can rotate from here. I'm gonna parent this to this. So is it what how can we parent? Control P, set parent, keep transforms. So now we can rotate this by itself, and we can rotate this with this guy, and we can apply the rotation here. So now we can just rotate like this however we want it to. But instead of having this as our point of pivot, okay, this, let me go back to edit mode. Let me remove this from the selection, add back the solidify for this guy. Even thicknesses by something like this. Apply, pick these guys, Control J. Perfect. So we want to rotate approximately on the midpoint between here and here. So it's gonna be this and this, right? Right. Shift S, cursor to select it, right click, origin to 3D cursor. Now if we rotate it, okay, we want to remove this from the selection actually. Control L, P, this and this as well. So I want to remove 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Control L, P, selection. Now we rotate. Rotate this on the X. So I think we need to lock the Y and the Z rotation. So it just rotates on the X. It's like this. Perfect. Save it. Then we need to, that's the last thing. We just to create this kind of fixation so we can reuse it wherever we want. And let me just look at different ways to do this. I think the easiest way to do it now is to Shift D this thing, tab, Control L, X faces, X faces, X faces, Alt Z, X faces. So what I want to do is recreate that detail actually. So we're gonna move this here, rotate it like this. We're gonna move this something like this, 90 degrees, or even something like this. Scale it up, move it on the Z. Just faking details as usual. Then we're gonna pick these, scale on the X, scale on the Y. Something like this. Then we're gonna pick these guys and we're gonna no. Yeah, that's fine. So from the looks of it, it looks fine like this. So let's delete these guys. Take this guy. This is a huge man. This is all of this is a bit too big, so I'm gonna pick these, Ctrl L, scale them by like this much on the Y, and then I'm gonna Shift H, sorry, Ctrl L, Shift H, then I'm gonna pick this thing, Alt H to unhide everything. So Ctrl L, Shift H, select this, Alt H, again, Ctrl L, Shift H, Alt H. Why are we selecting everything? Because we have reveal hidden as selected, so we don't know this. I want to scale this like this, move it down on the Z, and this actually should be white. That could be part of the reason it's looking too big as well. Yeah, that's fine. So let's save new collection. Let's call it satellite. Okay, copy, go to the main building, delete this thing, and Control V. And now let's suffer in positioning it. It could be like this, as simple as this. But it's too big. And it could be attached to the walls. I don't think I'm gonna attach it to the walls. Alright, so thinking more about it. So what I want to do is let's take these guys and let's press the period button. Let's call it from the active element and let's rotate like this. That's number one. Then let's rotate like this. And then let's rotate this like that. Rotate this like this. Right. Yeah. Next, this is too big. Let's make it much smaller. Let's pick all of these guys. Let's isolate them so we see what we're doing. Let's put wireframes on. Then let's go back here. You know what? Let's delete this vertex altogether. Take these guys, position them like this. Then let's rotate this like that. Something like this. I'm not being too slow. The computer is dying. Then we wanna put this somewhere here. Let's do something like this. You know what? I'm gonna copy this whole thing. Not even. I'm gonna take this, and this guy, and this guy. I'm gonna... No, wait. I'm gonna copy all of this. I'm gonna control space, delete this one, paste. Alright, let's work freely without this thing exploding on us. So first, let's position this dude GY here. Okay. All right. Just removing these. Then collection. You can select objects. They're not in the collection, so let's put them on the satellite collection. Now we can actually do Shift A, collection instance, satellite, but they're being created over there. Let me see, where is the object origin? Origins. All right. So here we have like two ACs actually. Let me first see this in context. So select object, let me copy it, and let's delete this guy. X delete, X delete, X delete. Let's be in this collection. Let's be in the scene collection actually. Let's paste. Let's put it in a satellite. Yeah, makes much more sense here. So we have one in here, and I guess I want to add one more, maybe here, but a bigger one. So let's first of all, let me put it in the scene collections. PC compressors, lamps. I'm not sure what these are. Okay. All of these are for the shop. So let's new collection, groceries, grocery shop. Okay. Pick the satellite. Select the objects. I'm not gonna instance it, even though it's better for the memory. I'm still, because you can do Shift A, collection instance, and you can just instance. I think I'm gonna do this for the AC compressors. It might reduce the file of the size and the lag. But for the satellite, I wanna make it stand on its own. I'm gonna do different details, so I cannot instance it. So I'm gonna just duplicate. I'm gonna put them into a new collection. Let's call it satellite 2. Pretty sure this is not how it's pronounced, but it's fine. So satellite 1, satellite 2. And for this, I think I'm gonna copy this, delete all of these, delete these collections, paste it here. Is it this much different? Wow, that's a lot. What's happening in here? So how high is this? If we go to edit mode, edge length, and we pick this edge, it's around 90 centimeters. And this is 20, so that's 110. No, that's fine. This is just fine. Let me delete this, you know. Delete all the objects in here. Let me delete this guy. This one is going through the wall for some reason. Again, select objects, GUI. Yeah. And now we're jumping in between a million things. G, rotate on the Z axis by 90 degrees. So we need to actually rotate this. It's locked, so let's unlock the rotation. So rotate, it's fine, by 90 degrees. Move it. So we have this selected, rotate. Why isn't this rotating? I think this has also the same lock, yeah. Yeah, okay. Rotate by 90 degrees, move it here. Scale upward like this, move up like this. Then we can rotate that thing like this. Rotate. This like that. Actually, instead of this detail, we can delete this vertex. We can do both of them vectors. So it's just a pole, technically. Scale on the X by 0. We can rotate this to be straight. We can take this, move it down, rotate this, also rotate that like this. Let me see. Align this with this. G on the X, something like this. So this is working just fine. I'm pretty sure I shouldn't have scaled it like this, because not everything scales uniformly like that. The small pieces will stay small, it's just the disk that becomes bigger. But let's just do it like this for now. Put it back in the satellite 2. Here I've noticed that we have something wrong. Let me fix this just quickly. Okay. So what I'm saying, so this is fine. It just needs a bit different positioning. I don't really like it actually. I don't like it, but like it's hiding some stuff. It's next to the antenna. I don't like it. So let's select the objects here again. I'm sorry. Select the objects here. Let me delete it. I think I'm gonna add one over here, like something here. It's gonna look a much more cooler. So let's select. You know what? For this one, I think since we're gonna reuse the same thing, let's delete this one. Let's shift A, instance the satellite object, set origin to geometry. Oh no, it's gonna mess things up. Actually, it's much faster, which is a relief. Yeah. But we have the metal structure in here. Thinking. Okay. This wasn't very well planned. So if you add it in here, the thing is, we have this thing here. And if we can just add it in here. GX like this. Let me see. Yeah, probably, why not? GZ. Or instead of doing this, we can, let me see, if we add it on this side instead, it might look even better. Something like this. Like this. Or you know what, let's keep it on the column. GX or GY. Now we have this, and then when you rotate, we have this. But GX, GY. Yeah, that's better. It was too much out there when it was on the column. Now it's a bit more to the inside. Also, like what I said, now we can add a lot of cables from this thing. Like maybe if you have 2-3 TVs, for each one you're gonna need a cable, so you can add like cables going everywhere from it, which adds some interesting stuff. And for this, I think I'm gonna select the object, I'm gonna move it on the X. Maybe in here. Nope. I think here is fine. Let's turn on the AC compressors and let's call it the day. for now. All right. Well, it took some time. It did take some time. But it's looking good. I'm happy with it. Anyways, thank you very much. Thank you, Yamrach, for joining every day. Thank you for everyone that's gonna watch this later, and we stream something tomorrow or later today. I'm gonna be changing all of these into instances, just like I did with this. I think that will save a lot of memory. Also for the wheels, I think I'm gonna make them instances of the same wheel, so we can gain some memory. Anyway, bye. See you next time.